Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katie.
Welcome to episode 322, Cancel Culture.
Cancel culture. We're experiencing a lot of cancellations.
Right.
I think that's to be expected this year especially, and last year, as the market is in transition and shifting.
Yeah.
Lots of cancellations are happening.
Things are happening.
I had a recent one that sort of inspired this episode and will serve as podcast therapy for myself.
Great. Our favorite.
Yes. So I can start with that story.
I think that would be actually, wait, before you tell us the story, since we're not just going to breeze over that this is happening more, I got some stats.
Okay.
Let's start with stats.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to start with the fact that I understand that cancel culture means something different, but I think it's hilarious.
It was a suggested name for this episode, which we thought was funny.
We're taking a real estate angle.
The real estate angle of cancel culture.
That's right. Okay, so cancellation stats. According to a Redfin study, 15% of home purchases fell through in July of 2025. Mm-hmm. That was the highest July rate on record, as high home buying costs made buyers skittish.
Mm-hmm,
Cancellations
skittish.
Were most common. And do you want to guess what two states?
Are we one of them?
No.
Oh.
Thank the Lord, but still.
California.
Close. No.
Texas.
Yes.
Okay.
And Florida.
Oh.
Texas and Florida had the most cancellations, but there were 58,000 U.S. home purchase agreements canceled in July. 58,000.
What?
Yeah. Which is equal to 15.3% of homes that were under contract. 15% is a lot.
So many cancellations.
It's a lot of cancellations. That's up from 14.5% the year before, so in 2024, and the highest rate in July since 2017.
Okay.
But I would say 14.5 also sounds pretty high.
Yeah, that is high.
It's just like a lot of people saying, no,
never mind.
I changed my mind.
Yeah.
This isn't going to work out. It's not you, it's me.
Right.
Oh, I don't know.
You asked for it, so we brought it back.
It's Cyber Monday, and for one day only, you can snag all 5 of our Black Friday deals at once.
That's everything. Checklist plus Trello templates, email templates, our seller net sheet and buyer cost sheet, Agent Systems 101, and even the Hustle Humbly community, all back for 24 hours.
If you regretted missing a deal, today's your last chance.
Head to hustlehumblypodcast.com/deals before midnight tonight.
Then pat yourself on the back. You just invested in making your real estate business calmer, simpler, and way more profitable. All right, now tell us your story.
Okay. I had one that just kind of bothered me. Here's the thing. I get that cancellations happen, and they are at times unavoidable.
Yeah.
The ones that linger with me are the ones that make me go, I feel like if we would have just had a conversation, we could have saved this.
Yeah, I think that you don't like the feeling of if I had been the agent on the other side, this would not have happened.
Correct.
That is where, because you don't have any control, like our control episode.
Yes.
I can't control what the other agent is doing.
No.
All right, tell us the story.
So I had a listing. It's been on the market for a minute. It's really a great listing. I love the house. I did think it would sell pretty quickly. It does back up to a little bit of a busier highway, which has been our feedback, and it has bothered buyers more than I thought it would. It's just been coming back in the feedback. So had the highway not been there, I would have sold this house like 20 times.
Right.
A lot shows like crazy because it's so cute.
Okay.
And does not disappoint when you show up, except for the highway.
Okay.
So we finally get an offer, and it was like a team situation.
Okay.
And the offer was not the greatest offer in the world, but I have a really good seller who is motivated and realistic. He's lived in this home for decades.
Oh gosh.
So
okay.
yes, they are the house is like 40 years old, and him and his wife are the second owner.
Okay.
No, so they love the house. They're downsizing. This is tough. He wants the house to be perfect.
And they're sad to see it go.
They're sad to see it go. It was funny because he was actually the one adding more work for himself before photos because he just wants it to be perfect for the next person.
He's very proud of his home.
He is.
Okay.
So he negotiated way more than I thought he would.
Okay.
Like I was surprised.
How, like a lot, like thousands.
Like tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. That's a lot.
I was like, okay, wow. He's really
serious.
negotiating. And we came to an agreement.
Great.
Buyer schedules their home inspection pretty quickly. I'm like, things are going great. And then they had asked for a little bit of a longer due diligence period,
Okay.
but had said, we'll try to wrap things up quickly.
Okay.
So against my better judgment, I didn't counter
You're
that
like, all
longer
right.
days.
Okay.
It was just a few extra days and nobody else was making an offer.
For
so
reference, what would you say is normal?
10
Okay,
in our
so
market.
It was over
more
10.
than 10 days
Okay.
of due diligence.
Got it.
But then I felt better. Like I was questioning my judgment. But then I felt better when I saw how quickly they scheduled
They actually went out.
the home inspection.
Okay,
And I was
great.
like, we're going to have answers very soon.
Okay.
And so they had their home inspection. And then it was just crickets.
You're like, what's going on?
And I tell my sellers, we usually don't hear something the day of unless there's a major deal breaker and I get a phone call.
Yeah.
But I said they'll get the report the next day.
Okay.
People work. Maybe they need time to review it.
Sure.
They have this due diligence period. As long as they are within that period,
They don't have to send
they don't have to
request.
send a repair request right away. It's up
Okay.
to them.
Right.
But my seller was getting more anxious with every passing day.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to bother the buyer's agent, but I haven't heard a peep. So I'm like, how did it go? Oh, it went fine. They do want to look at a few things a little closer.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. And so it just keeps dragging. The last day of the due diligence, I'm like, hey, are y'all sending a repair request? How are things going? And this was via a group text with the team.
Okay.
Which I thought was interesting that this team prefers to keep everything
Shared
in a group text.
shared communication
Even though there's only one agent
that you worked with.
representing this
Got
buyer,
it.
we still have, I guess they stay involved with
Okay.
each other. And the other agent was more like observant, like didn't comment in the group chat,
Got it.
but was in there.
Okay.
So I get this text that just says, we found XYZ during the due diligence period.
Okay.
It was a foundation thing.
Okay.
There are some beautiful oak trees around this house, but
Okay.
we've never noticed any signs of, and I usually can pick up
Tell,
on things,
yeah.
didn't notice anything. A foundation company went out, suggested some piers to be installed.
Okay.
It didn't sit right with me or my seller, but also I do trust that they had the foundation company come out.
You knew the company.
I knew the company.
Okay.
I also know and have been in situations where with foundation, if there is a dispute, the only person that can really say with 100% certainty if a house needs foundation work is an actual structural engineer.
Right.
Typically,
Different inspection.
a different inspection. So the foundation companies are not structural engineers always.
No.
So if you have a dispute, like I've had situations in the past where foundation company A suggested work to be done.
Mhm.
Foundation company B did not suggest work to be done. So when there was a dispute, you then have to pay for a structural engineer to come out.
Right, because the buyer's not sure what to trust.
Yeah, right.
Or the seller. No
Right.
one knows what to do.
And it's funny because I struggle with this because to me it's math.
Right.
It either needs it or it doesn't need it. But some foundation companies do feel like they could, oh, well, if we installed some extra piers here, it may help anything in the future. Like preventative stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it is in a little bit subjective
Yeah.
because just like no house is perfect, but there's probably always some work that could be done.
Always.
But like, is it enough to really warrant the expense?
Sure.
No house is perfect.
No house is perfect.
Okay, but let's back up a little. So they have their regular inspection. They have the foundation inspection. Now we're on the last day and no repair request has been made.
No.
What happens now?
So that's when I checked in and said, how are we looking? I said, look, my seller is anxious and I'm sorry to have to check in with you so
Yeah.
much, but you haven't checked in with me at all.
And it's the last day.
And it's the last day. How are we looking? And she sent me this text that said, the foundation company did suggest some piers be installed. And she said, my buyers are not worried about a house needing foundation work, but they feel as though your seller knew about this and that has just turned them off. So I'm going to send you a cancellation.
Just have a lot of questions about this.
I just couldn't believe.
That's very shocking.
I was.
Via text.
Yes. I was startled. Like.
You're like, wait, I did not see that coming.
No. That we're going to. I said, well, that's not the truth.
Right. Like the seller didn't know.
My seller has I said, I know my sellers. They are the sweetest, most honest people. If they knew there was an issue with this house,
they probably would have fixed it.
It was getting corrected. I said, can we have a phone call?
The two of you.
Like I asked the agent, can we talk about this? Because I would hate for this to cancel over something that's not true.
Right, because the buyer said, we think the seller committed fraud.
We think the seller lied.
That's fraud.
He knew about it.
I will label it for you. That's if a seller fills out a property disclosure knowingly incorrect, that is fraud.
That's why I was like, and it was especially upsetting to me because I know my sellers, and it could not
like this doesn't seem
have been farther from the truth.
Okay, and you said let's have a call.
And she's like, don't worry about it. They've already signed the cancellation. And I'm just in shock over it.
You're like, I don't even know what to do now.
Like, not only are you accusing me of fraud, but you haven't picked up the phone to talk anything out this whole time.
Right. When was it coming?
When are we going to work together?
Yeah.
You're okay just letting... And then she sends me screenshots.
Oh, dear.
From her buyer and hers conversation.
Oh, I did not hear this part of the story.
And again, the buyer is saying in the text message, like, we're just going to move on. And I'm going, not trying to tell you how to do your job, but did you even have a phone call with your buyer?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
sometimes you need to hear their voice, reassure them, educate them. I can't tell you how many times I've had to say, listen, I know this is a really emotional process and this is a big deal, but we need to focus on the house and not the people. Because I have seen many times where, because it's an emotional process, we tie our emotions to the people and we create stories about what we think is going on.
For sure.
And then you get to the closing table and you go, my narrative was so false.
Yeah.
And I tell that story a lot to my buyers.
Yeah.
When they're getting emotional.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know if the narrative that we're feeling is true.
Right.
But what we do know is this foundation company suggested a repair. We can ask the seller to do the repair. Mm-hmm. We can have a structural engineer come out and give a second opinion. Mm-hmm. We have options here.
Yeah.
So my goal, because I knew my seller, my goal was to get them to submit a repair request.
Yeah.
So in our market, if the buyer submits a repair request and the seller agrees to everything on the repair request, the buyer is required to move forward.
Yeah, contractually.
Contractually.
Like that part has been met. You don't get to say, well, never mind.
Yes. If they say, yes, we will fix everything you have asked for.
Great. Moving on.
Then the buyer has to move forward. They don't have a way to cancel.
Okay.
So my goal, because I know my seller, if they submit a repair request.
You're like, he's going to deal with it.
He's going to do it. Because he's going to do it.
Okay.
So they would not send me a repair request. They just sent me a cancellation. No phone calls were ever made to me during this entire process. Never a phone call. Never an opportunity to talk anything out. Mm-hmm. And it just left a really bad taste in my mouth. And there are people on the team that I have respect for that I was like, do I let them know how this went? Like, I'm just not happy with any of this. And on top of it, my seller was so upset.
Yeah.
I did not tell him that
the whole story.
They accused him of having prior
Thank
knowledge.
God. There would be no need.
No.
Like, what? That's going to do no one any good.
No. He was upset enough.
Yeah. If you would have been like, hey, they said you're a liar.
Yeah. I'm just not going to go
By the
there.
way.
I'm just not going to go there. Like, and I think that's an important lesson for all. Okay. So they do, I ask for a copy of the foundation and inspection report. My seller immediately, besides this foundation estimate, the other things were so minor. Like HVAC could be cleaned and serviced. There was some loose insulation. The plumber, there was a leaky faucet in the laundry room. An electrician found a few things in the panel because of the age of the home.
Okay.
Simple. My seller, within 24 hours,
It's like, they're all fixed.
had a plumber, electrician, HVAC, found the structural engineer, which those do take some time.
Yeah.
So he was about 2 weeks out
Okay.
before being able to come.
It's a really thorough report.
Yeah. And do you know what was most upsetting too is that now I can't quite go back on the market until we figure out this foundation issue.
Right, because he's got to disclose it if it's a problem.
Right. If it does in fact need foundation work, now I have to disclose it.
Yeah.
My seller and myself, truly, because I went and looked at a few things that were noted, and I'm like, this house is an old house.
Yeah.
This is normal settling, but
Right.
I am not an engineer.
Right.
But I have been to houses that were my listings where I'm like, this is a problem, you know? So I didn't know, I couldn't go back on the market because I had to get the engineer's report
sort it out.
first. If the engineer says it needs foundation work, my seller was ready to write the check and have it done.
Yeah.
But he was like, Alissa, this is too much money for me not to
get a second opinion.
Fair. From the source, the engineer.
Yeah.
Not a second opinion from another foundation company, from the structural engineer.
It's fair.
This report came back 2 weeks later, 14 pages long.
Oh my gosh.
So many pictures and measurements. Like, you think you're never going to use the Pythagorean theorem.
They did.
These are the people that do. They're measuring every angle of the house, the rafters, in the attic, from bottom to top, they are checking.
Yeah.
And he's like, this house is
fine.
Solid.
Okay.
Like, it needs nothing.
Great.
So now I've been off the market for about a month.
Not great.
A month, because I had to take us off for pending, and then I had to wait for the report.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the seller has had highlighted as he went every item on the inspection report.
Great. This should make it easier next time.
And this agent that canceled had mentioned something about, now you're going to have to disclose this foundation. So I was worried if I go back on the market and I don't have anything in there, then
you felt like you were going to get checked behind.
I did. So I did not message the buyer's agent that was on the team because I honestly was like, she didn't want to work anything out with me while we were under contract.
Talk to you.
Didn't want to talk to me.
Yeah.
Looking back at my text when she first said that she thought my sellers were a liar, I did sort of like send a string of text messages like, but that's not the truth.
Right.
Like my sellers are very kind. Can we talk about that? What is it? Do you want to submit a repair request? Is there anything? Can you call me? Is there anything we can do? Like, I was like
what can I do? You were like,
and it was just like, no.
What do they call that? Like pick me girl? You were like, please.
Like, I felt like I was getting broken up with.
Don't
like,
go.
Out of left field.
I can change.
Yeah. I can be better.
I can do whatever you need.
Just tell me what you need. I'll do it. I'll do it.
I'll do anything to not lose you.
I just am like, man, I really got desperate there. But I couldn't get her on the phone. So I decided to message the team lead.
Okay.
Who I do know. And I actually sent her a voice note.
You didn't message her in the moment of the cancellation, did you?
No, she was on the group
She was
text.
there already. She's already seen it. Okay.
Yeah, never
When
made
are you
a comment.
messaging her? Later?
2 weeks later,
Got
I
it.
have this structural engineering report.
Uh-huh.
So I sent her a voice note. She and I are friendly,
Okay.
like have had lunch, So I sent her a voice note. I wanted her to hear my voice. I didn't want it to be a text.
Yeah, fair.
So I just was like, hey, I have had it on my heart about this transaction. And I am really sad that one of our first transactions together went so poorly. And I felt because of my relationship with you, I just wanted to be honest and let you know, like, I was really disappointed in how it all went.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate, like, the agent saying that they were canceling because they felt my seller lied and withheld knowledge. I don't appreciate that a repair request was never submitted to at least give us an opportunity.
Right.
I was asking, is there anything that can be done to save this? And I just felt like there was no effort to work together to save a contract.
Or to communicate.
Or to communicate anything. I said, I do want to let you know, we had a structural engineer come out. Mm-hmm. I have a 14-page report that will be in MLS when we go back active that says the house is completely structurally sound.
And cost your seller how much?
$1,000.
Yeah.
It cost $1,000 to get this report.
Okay.
And also, he went through the inspection report and has remedied everything on there. So I said, I feel like if it would have been, I told her, I said, I feel like if it would have been me and you, the communication, we would have called each other.
Yeah.
Like when we do a transaction together, we're a team.
Yeah.
Me and you.
That's why it's called a co-op agent.
A co-op agent. What do we need to do?
Yeah.
And I just had to get that off my chest.
Okay.
I just wanted you to know the result.
Yeah,
of the
what's
house,
going on.
And that I'm sad and disappointed that this is how it went. And I hope that if we ever do a transaction together, it's better.
Yeah.
I hope it's better because this was
not
bad.
Good.
Not good at all. What I found interesting was after providing her with all of the documentation, her buyer is going back to take another look.
Okay.
And is now interested in the house again. And as I mentioned before we started recording, I kind of hate that I'm in transition now.
You want us to have the end of the story.
I want you to have the end of the story.
We don't have a new offer from said buyer.
Not yet.
But they are really circling.
I would also like to point out that just for the sake of timing and everything, we record months in advance at times.
Yeah.
And so when I say this is happening now,
it's not now.
It's not now as you are listening.
Right.
It's now as I'm recording.
Right.
And so I don't know.
That's okay. We'll hear a follow-up later.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
But here's what it let me know.
Let's hear it.
There was a way to stop that cancellation.
The buyer's still interested.
The buyer feels comfortable now that
after
we
seeing
have
the report.
A report.
Yeah.
So they could have said, like, I'm over here begging the agent, send me a repair request. And she said, there is nothing that can be done.
They are done.
They're done. And I'm like, if you would have had a conversation with your buyer.
Yeah, let's back up and just be like, I don't know what was going on in that agent's life or world or why they chose to behave this way. I don't know what happened between them and their buyer, if they had a contentious relationship, if they weren't really good at talking, if the buyer refused to take phone calls. I don't know. Maybe she wanted to talk to them and she couldn't. But had it been you or me, let's talk about what we would have done if it were our buyer.
Yeah.
Number one, if my buyer said to me, after looking at this inspection report and then the assessment of a foundation person, if my buyer said to me, well, the seller had to have known about this, they lied, I would have first started with, okay, so the document that a seller fills out is called the property disclosure. You saw it and signed it. If the seller lies and doesn't fill that out correctly, they're committing fraud. So what you're saying is that the seller committed a crime. I can call the agent and find out if the seller had any knowledge of this. Maybe they filled it out incorrectly. Perhaps you're right. Maybe they knew something. I don't think they lied, but let me at least ask the agent if the seller knows about this.
Yeah.
Step one.
Yes.
Okay, so step one. Then she would have picked up the phone and called you or sent a text if you insist. Hey, foundation showed this. Buyer wondering what the seller's knowledge was.
Yeah. Has the seller ever noticed any of this?
That would be step one.
Instead of, hey,
Seller knew.
my buyer thinks your seller lied.
Liar.
So, like, just ask.
I
in a
also
different
think it
way.
is wild that the agent would tell you, my client is saying your client is a liar.
Yeah.
That to me is also off the table.
Uh-huh.
So I would not have chosen to share that information had it been my buyer.
And that's what sent me into panic mode. Like,
You're like, well, but I know he didn't.
Right.
What do I do now?
like
How
I
do
was
I fix
like,
this?
if this deal is going to cancel over something not true, because she specifically said in her text, it's not the foundation that bothers them. It's the fact
lie
that they believe the seller knew. I said, but all I kept saying was, but that's just not the truth.
Can we talk?
Can we talk?
Can we talk?
No.
All right. So problem number 2 or resolution number 2 would have been like, we have to get on the phone with each other.
Yes.
It is just not acceptable in a transaction that is getting rocky that we're not going to have a discussion with someone.
Right.
Do I love an email or a text for being able to have like a chain and like proof? Sure, that's all fine and good. But if we're trying to sort out a problem that's either the difference between we will move forward and we will cancel,
Yeah.
let's have a chat. You got to have enough time for your cooperating agent to at least give them that courtesy of the chat.
I wasn't even aware a cancellation was on the table.
Right.
I did not know her buyers were in a frenzied state. Like, I did not know any of this was going on. And I genuinely feel like I could have given them information or been helpful to keep it together.
Yeah.
And I was never given the opportunity, which is what made me so frustrated.
Yeah, you didn't even have the chance to do your part of the job.
Right.
You were just cut off.
And my seller is going, did you tell them this? And honestly, I'll be honest, I didn't tell my seller. She won't call me. She won't.
Because there was no point in throwing them under the bus.
One, I don't want to make realtors look worse.
Right.
Than they already have a reputation for.
Yeah.
I did not want to upset him further when that information wouldn't have changed anything. I just had to say, listen, Mr. Seller, I am as upset as you are. The fact is, this foundation estimate scared them away. Whether the house needs it or not, they've decided to cancel. So I didn't tell him anything else.
And they're contractually within their rights to do so.
Yes.
The end. It is an unfortunate situation, but we need to do what we got to do to get it back on the market and sold.
Yes. And that's basically all I told him. I did not get, that's why I needed podcast therapy. I needed to get this off my chest.
Yeah. You didn't do anything wrong, but feeling that out of control when you know you could have had some helpful impact is really a tough pill to swallow. I want to talk about the etiquette of being the person sending the cancellation, though.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's a world, and look, I don't know, maybe, where you just send a text like that.
Right.
I think you have to make a phone call or an attempt at a phone call. Look, y'all, I've tried to make a phone call to an agent that just will not, that will only communicate via text and email. But I at least said, hey, can we chat real quick?
Yeah.
Or actually called and been like, hey, I got your voicemail. I'd really like to talk. Can we talk?
Yeah.
I think you can push it enough to be like, let's get on the phone. I want to be like, hey, listen, my buyer's got this situation. This is why they feel this way. This is what they're thinking. Like, is there anything you think we can do? Like, or hey, they're just really past the point of no return. I hate this for you and your seller and for me and the buyer. You know, it is what it is. But you owe that agent a phone call.
Yeah.
Before you send a text or an email that's like cancellation attached.
I think this just goes back to professionalism, having systems in place. I do think mistakes like this is my first transaction with them, so I don't know if this is how they always operate, or like you said, what's going on in their life. Are they in a really busy season where they have a lot of transactions going on and things are like the systems aren't in place?
This could have been the worst buyer ever that has taken them, a year to go through multiple contracts.
Okay.
I don't know.
So here's the deal with that. In my head also, I was having trouble understanding why this agent didn't want to collaborate together to make it work.
She's like, do you want to show more houses?
How hard it is to get a buyer under contract right now? And you're just going to cancel it over nothing?
They don't want to.
You want to cancel and keep showing them houses and do this again on the next one? What if their spidey senses tell them something false on the next house? Are you ever going to help guide and direct them and keep them focused on the real estate and not the people? Like, she was hurting herself as much as me.
Yeah, unless she was going to fire them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, if you're going to keep working with them, why not try to get through the
Right. Because that's how I feel, too, is I want to make sure my buyer we have both as a team, buyer and agent, shut every door possible before writing a cancellation.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to know, so you're telling me, even if the seller does all these things, you are not coming back to this house.
Right.
That's the conversation I'm having with my buyers.
Yeah.
Which clearly, because if she would have said, just want to make sure cancellations are a big deal. Before we do this, there is nothing this seller can do that would make you interested in this house. Clearly that is false, because the second I provided a report saying that the house is structurally sound,
they were like,
they're going back.
Yeah.
And I'm going, so we could have avoided all of this.
And saved.
Well,
they would have, they needed the report probably.
Yeah.
So the seller was likely going to have to spend better the $1,000 than the thousands to fix the foundation, right?
Right.
So fine. Okay. So very importantly, I want to make sure that we circle back to, if you're sending a cancellation via a text or email, is really not the appropriate first move.
No.
Let's call.
Yeah.
The next thing I wanted to talk about was, if your buyer is canceling, I mean, that's how you want to deliver it. If you're receiving that as the listing agent, I feel like I want to ask a couple of follow-up questions. Like, hey, have they already found something else?
Yeah.
Like, am I just spinning my wheels here, asking you, what can we do? What can we do? Like, did they find something else?
Just tell me.
Just finish breaking my heart and let's move on.
Yeah.
If they've already moved on in their mind to another house, there's not much you can do.
Correct.
Right? So I need to know that. But it also states a case for when you start a transaction with the agent. Like, hey, how long have they been looking?
Yeah.
Have they been under contract before? Like, or even when you got deep in that inspection period and you're like, why is it taking so long? They've already done everything. I would be like, hey, just curious about your buyer's mindset. Like,
do they need anything? Anything we can help with?
Right. Because I will tell you, I've had on a listing, the buyer's agent say things to me that made me realize, this is very fragile.
Yes.
We're going to be lucky if we get through this inspection.
Yeah.
These buyers have been under contract. This is their third house.
Right.
And we're trying to get through inspections. I'm going to tell my seller to handle it a certain way when I know that these people are very skittish.
Yes.
So interesting things you can ask the co-op agent.
Yeah.
But not that you had that opportunity. No chat.
You asked for it, so we brought it back.
It's Cyber Monday, and for one day only, you can snag all 5 of our Black Friday deals at once.
That's everything. Checklist plus Trello templates, email templates, our seller net sheet and buyer cost sheet, Agent Systems 101, and even the Hustle Humbly community, all back for 24 hours.
If you regretted missing a deal, today's your last chance.
Head to hustlehumblypodcast.com/deals before midnight tonight.
Then pat yourself on the back. You just invested in making your real estate business calmer, simpler, and way more profitable. Okay, so the other thing I think we want to talk about is how you're talking to your clients about a cancellation.
This is where I had a lot of thoughts, okay? I don't know the nature of the relationship, if they knew each other before, if this was an online lead.
Don't know.
I don't know anything about the nature of their relationship. I do know that the teams get leads, online leads, which is fine. But this is where the importance of a buyer consultation comes in. And we have a whole episode on the buyer consultation and why it is so important. I think it would be a great episode to go re-listen to this week.
Yeah.
But, that especially when you're working with someone that you don't have a background with, but also especially if you have a friendship or former relationship with.
Yeah.
This consultation says, listen, I know we're friends, but we are entering a real estate transaction as a agent-client relationship, and I am about to like wow you with my professionalism.
Right.
I am going to walk you through this process, and you're going to be like, wow, I just used her because I had a client tell me this one time, and it made me so happy. They said, I just called you because you were like my friend, but dang, you were like really good at your job.
You're like, yeah.
And I'm like, thank you. Like, I want them to know I'm going to treat you like any other client, and this is how it's going to work. But making sure they understand, I tell my buyers, cancellations are not to be taken lightly.
Right.
I let them, because I do think sometimes I've heard agents say, look, once you make an offer, you can cancel anytime during the due diligence. You can cancel. It's not a big deal. Delivering it in such a way that lets them know, look, you are still protected during your due diligence period. If you want to get an estimate on windows or tree removal, like that is when we would do it, is during our due diligence, and we can give the seller the opportunity to remedy anything that makes you nervous.
Yeah.
Cancellations are not to be taken lightly. People are scheduling movers. They are figuring out where they need to go, what they're doing, their finances. So we don't want to go into an offer unsure of if we're going to cancel or not.
Right. Like it's not a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
So while you are protected, canceling is a big deal. And it's not something we like to do unless we have to.
Yeah. And I usually don't specifically point out that you can cancel for any reason, even though that is true, unless my buyers are so nervous about writing an offer, and we've been through this a bunch of times, and then I'll be like, hey, let's just talk about what happens during your inspection.
Yeah.
You're going to do all these things, and if you're not comfortable or your numbers aren't right or like whatever, you can cancel.
Yeah.
No penalty.
Right.
I don't put it out there like that for just every buyer.
Right.
But sometimes I do think
it helps them. The first timers.
But I think some agents say it to everyone just to get like the contract written.
Yeah. But it's like a hastily written contract.
What's the point?
I had several cancellations on my listings this year. And I didn't find out this one because I was just shut out. But the others, I want to say like 3 of the 4, their client was an online lead. And they didn't do a buyer consultation.
Yeah. They were just hoping to make it through a transaction.
They were like, my consultation was when I ran and showed them the first house.
Yeah.
And then I just started showing them houses. They never had a conversation, a sit down, explanation of the process.
Yeah.
The 4th one that canceled, their buyer did not attend the inspection. And she did. She said the inspection went well. But when the buyer got the report, it freaked them out because they weren't there to hear
or
about
see it with their eyes.
And the inspectors, if you have a good one, are so good about educating. This all goes back to educating, telling the buyer, this has to be in the report. These are the things you'll see. This is how I color code things based on importance. Like, it is so important for any time I have a buyer that can't be present on myself, I'm like, you just have to be.
Yeah.
We need to figure something out.
You recently lost a buyer who chose not to be there.
They lived out of state.
Yeah.
And they did not come to the home inspection.
Yeah.
And it was one of the cleanest home inspections.
Right. And they still were like, no.
And they got the report. And we did do like a recap. They talked to the inspector.
Yeah.
And they just totally panicked when they saw the report. And I told them, I said, y'all, this was the cleanest inspection report. And I'm not telling you that to make you stay in this contract. I'm telling you that because I feel like it's my duty to prepare you that
for the next one.
The next house is gonna be worse than this because this one was so clean.
Yeah.
So if your expectations of what I said, I can send you a few others that I've recently had.
Yeah.
If you want to look at an inspection report and see what they can look like, maybe it would make you feel better about the one you just had. Another thing I say a lot is, look, I do this all day, every day. I know you don't. And I'm not here to push you one way or the other. I'm only here to tell you the facts of what I see so that you can make the most educated decision for yourself. I would hate for you to every house after this compare it to that one house that you canceled and have regrets.
I'm like, I don't want to be right. I want to be happy.
I don't want to be right. I just want you to be educated and make sound decisions based on facts. But the buyer consultation is even more important when the relationship is not there.
Yeah.
If they were an online lead or something like that, it's just so important.
I think we just still have some agents walking the tightrope of, I need the business.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lose this person. And I'll just kind of go on a wing and a prayer and hope that they like get through a transaction. But the minute they feel like they're pushing back or the client is like, they're like, well, I don't want to lose them as a buyer. So I'd rather just cancel this contract and go get them another house because I don't want to be like, I don't want to have to tell them the truth.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to push them. I don't want them to think I'm trying to sell them this house because we have no trust. We have no rapport.
And I think, we have the episode on Be the Boss.
I wrote it down for this.
You did?
It's number 113.
Okay, episode 113. In the situation you just described, I think you are correct. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
And it's even more important for us to find the confidence and the dialogue to say, what I'm about to say next is based on my experience and facts. I am happy to write a cancellation for you. I just have to say my piece so that you have all the information before you.
You hired me to advise you.
Yeah.
That's literally my job. Mm-hmm. If I don't give you the advice or advise you based on my knowledge, then I'm not doing my job.
Yeah.
I'm just like letting you, then I'm just opening doors.
Sure.
Right? The other episodes that are very important about this are what is client management 255. So that was the client management revisit. And then 24, the original client management episode, because again, we are supposed to be driving this ship.
Yes.
Like we're not supposed to be just letting our buyers and sellers willy-nilly do whatever they want.
If we're just the door opener and I've even had a dad walk in and say something like outlandish, like, well, this isn't a real chimney. So and I had to say, it's not a real chimney because it's a ventless fireplace. It doesn't require one. This is a new thing they're doing in new construction.
Yeah, we don't.
You have to have the confidence to be like,
right,
whatever you're wrong about, if I know different, I need to find a respectful, professional way to let you know the truth.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the confidence to do that, that's going to be a problem. And it is something that you may want to have on your list of things that you're working on.
For sure. For sure. Okay. Let's also talk about, you mentioned it kind of in your story. If you're representing the buyer and they do opt to cancel due to an inspection, one, you as the agent don't own that inspection. If the listing agent wants it, you can ask your buyer if it's okay to share it.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think it's appropriate to automatically send it to the listing agent. I would like to ask them, hey, do you want this inspection? And then I have to ask my buyer, do you want to share it now that we're moving on?
Yeah.
Only if we're moving on.
Sure.
I just think that actual inspection report should be handled with some thoughtfulness. Like, does the buyer want to share it? They paid for it. It's theirs. Does the seller want to receive it? I mean, if they receive it, then there are some things they're likely going to have to disclose. And if the buyer just walked away without asking for repairs, I feel like it's unfortunate to also then punish the seller by sending them that report like, yeah, you better fix your disclosure.
I don't know. I feel like it's helpful because it's like, what are our surprises? What happened here?
Yeah, I mean, I think most sellers would want to know.
Yeah.
Unless you have a seller who's like, I intend to not do repairs. And also, let's not pretend that every inspector shows up and finds exactly the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
So if it was a more harsh inspector, do I want that inspection to be what I've now got to disclose?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some nuance there. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I just think you have to be thoughtful about it.
Yes.
Most sellers probably want it. They're like, well, I need to know what I need to do.
Yeah.
But also, it's not just for you to sit, like your buyer has to say, okay, we'll send it over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you want to hear just the tips for agents handling the cancellation?
Yeah.
I'm going to just give you high level. There are 10 tips.
Okay.
Okay. Stay professional and neutral.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to keep those emotions in check.
Mm-hmm.
2, acknowledge emotions. So obviously they are emotional,
Yes.
but lead with facts.
Oh, dear.
What a great
Look at
idea.
This. Look at this.
Says clients often feel disappointed, stressed, and embarrassed when a deal falls through. Validate their feelings, but pivot to facts, timelines, and next steps.
Yeah.
All right. Review the contract carefully.
Mm.
Be careful. I mean, you have to be within your rights to even cancel.
Yeah.
Before sending or responding, you got to check that purchase agreement. All right. Communicate. You're going to like this. Promptly. We're not just trying to wait it out to the last minute. If you know your buyer is going to cancel, I would let them sleep on it one night. If you're trying to talk them into continuing or get them to like think about what they want to do.
Yeah.
But if they're like, no, it's not going to happen. You need to be preparing that
Yes.
immediately, and you need to be communicating with the listing agent immediately.
Yeah.
It's only fair. It says don't delay difficult conversations.
Don't
I
delay.
know it's not fun.
No.
Do I want to call the agent and say, I'm sorry, my buyer is canceling? It is going to be an unpleasant conversation.
I have a funny story.
Oh, let's hear it.
I had a cancellation this year. It was my buyer canceling on a vacant lot that the seller had been trying to sell for a while.
Oh, no.
So I really liked the listing agent. I hated to do it, but it was what it was.
Yeah.
Nothing could be done. I call her and I tell her, and she and I are, have done a few deals together. And at the end of the conversation, she's like, is this the April Fool's joke? And sure enough, it was April 1st.
Oh, no.
And I didn't even register. And I went,
oh, God,
no, I would never do that to you. I was like, that would be the worst April Fool's joke. She was devastated that we were canceling.
You should have waited till April 2nd, I guess.
Well, she literally texted me the next morning and was like, so it's true. Because I had called her the night before.
She's like, I'm going to wait.
Yeah, she did. She was like, she was like,
she didn't want to tell her seller on April Fool's.
She did not want to make that phone call. And I even wrote her a letter after being like, I just hate that happened. I kept an eye on it. It went under contract very quickly.
Oh, good.
After, which I was like, oh, thank God, because I hated to do it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And in fact, like a month or two later, she had sent me a funny reel or something on Instagram, and it made me go, okay, we're good. Like, I just didn't want to.
You were afraid that she would hate you forever.
But it was like she wouldn't, she was like, I am not accepting your cancellation until April 2nd.
I mean, fine. That was extenuating circumstances. That's hilarious.
Isn't that funny?
Okay, next on your tips, put it in writing. Even if you discuss it verbally, always follow up with documentation.
Yeah,
obviously.
Our phone call.
And the people are like, we're canceling, but they don't send you a signed cancellation. I'm like, friend, contractually speaking, we need to keep this part of the process tight.
Yeah.
All right. Be the calm in the chaos. Okay. You're the calm. Maintain composure and confidence. Number 7, protect relationships for the long game.
Yep.
I mean, we do not want to be ugly to our co-op agents, to our clients, to the other, so it's really hard to navigate. This is not a pleasant part of the process. Manage the fallout gracefully. If you're the receiving agent, avoid blame or frustration in your response. A professional, understanding reply maintains goodwill. This is so hard to do.
So hard to do. This one was really hard.
I mean, right.
And I think that's why I felt the need to reach out to the team lead.
Yeah.
To just say, I don't want to feel this way towards your team.
Right.
If we cross paths again and I get a purchase agreement from someone on your team, and I told her as much. I was like, I don't want to be nervous about it.
Yeah.
And right now I would be.
Right.
Which is why I wanted to say, this is how it went down.
But this is a good lesson for people to learn no matter what, people are taking your behavior and filing it away.
Yeah.
For the next time you send an offer or have a listing or whatever. And if you think you can just go out there and behave badly and it not come back to bite you and your future clients, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep your client's big picture in mind. Help your clients reframe the cancellation as a redirection. Sometimes losing a house isn't losing. It's clearing a path for the right fit. The perspective provides comfort and keeps. Yeah, we don't want them to also quit the process
Yeah,
because that can happen, I feel like, lately.
definitely.
You know what? I'm going to cancel this one and I'm going to put a pin in it.
Yeah, I just don't want to buy it all.
Like, this is a very hard, we want to navigate that very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's going to be fine. And then document and debrief. So you want to make sure that you sharpen your systems and professionalism as a result of unfortunate cancellations.
Yeah.
I had 2 cancellations this year, remember?
Yeah.
We've talked about them.
Yeah, they were on previous episodes.
Both the same buyer. I went back to look and see how many cancellations I've had in prior years. The last 3 years I had none.
Wow.
Thank you. I had none that were my buyer.
Right.
I don't think I had any
That's
that were
what
my
I mean.
listing, but
Yeah.
yes. Okay, fine. But this particular buyer canceled twice. I am really proud because the first time she canceled, there were some things that came up in inspection.
It was legitimate.
We kind of went back and forth. The agent was kept in the loop. And then I did obviously call the agent and say, it's just not going to work out. But here's where their head is at, whatever.
Didn't he even thank you
he
for
sent me and after I emailed the cancellation and just reiterated what I had told him on the phone, he responded with, thank you so much. You've been such a great professional, and this was a really positive experience. I'm sorry it didn't work out either, but you basically you did a great job. I'm like, wow, that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and then the second time around, then they had the extenuate. We were having some inspection issues. I do think we would have gotten through them, and then we had the personal problem come up where she needed surgery, and it was like, unfortunately, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
So.
Out of your control.
Out of my control, the listing agent did handle that. I mean, again, I made a phone call. I explained it very thoroughly. She was like, I totally, out of your hands, I understand. And then I was like, do you want this inspection? Yes, please. And I sent all of the information we had collected.
I think that's a really good point too, is when you are the agent receiving the cancellation, when you get that phone call and they are nervous to tell you, your response is going to form a bond with that agent and set the precedent for what they think of you and your reputation. Appreciate that they're calling.
Yeah.
Appreciate that they're sharing what happened with you. Like, handle it with like grace and thankfulness.
Yeah. And also you can approach it with some kindness and be like, okay, no problem, but let's just talk it through a little. Is there any way for us to make this work?
Yeah.
Like, have they moved on mentally? Have they said they're not going to buy it all now? Like,
do you think there's anything we can do before we sign?
Even if you've already talked about it one time, just be like, just a last check. Is there anything we can do?
Yes.
But if you're approaching it nicely, then they might actually tell you.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, I can't believe this. The seller's going to be so mad.
I've had some come back. Like, when I have said before we sign, like the buyers had signed. And the agent called me and was like, I just emailed you a cancellation. I'm so sorry. Da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, listen, I just want to let you know this is my seller situation. They're negotiable. Whatever else I said, do you think there's anything we can do before I send this to my sellers? And she was like, let me make a phone call. And then they submitted an insane repair request that we offered a huge amount of money for, and they accepted.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
But if you just received that signed cancellation and were like, womp womp, and then send it to your seller.
Yeah. They canceled, just sign.
You're back on the market.
It's just such a disservice to everybody.
All the parties.
To not try.
Yourself as the agent on that side. Everyone.
Yeah.
I also recall a story where you're the listing agent and a buyer's agent sent you a cancellation and was just like, this, whatever. And you were like, I don't remember what the specific details were. Like, do you mind if I talk to your buyer?
This was so long ago, like maybe 2013, 2014 when this happened. And the agent I was new, but this agent I think was really new. And I was telling her, did you explain this? And she was like, what? And then I realized she didn't know what I was talking about. And I said, do you think it would be a big deal if I talked to your buyer? And she gave me her buyer's phone number.
And the transaction moved forward.
It did. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. I feel like I've even had an incident where it was like the parties had to talk.
Yeah.
the buyer and seller.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's there to lose at this point?
Yeah, they're going to cancel
You're
anyway.
trying to cancel. Want to talk to them?
A contract in this market is gold.
Yeah, we got to really work to take care of that.
This job requires a lot of work and a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And it needs to go beyond a text message when things get sticky.
Yeah, I just think that's the part of your job. We're going to talk about it, I think, next week in an episode about AI. But the actual part where you're a human
Yeah.
and you're talking to people and giving them advice and developing a relationship built on trust, it requires literally talking to them.
Yeah.
You cannot do this job successfully strictly by text and email. You can't convince me. There are going to be times when the buyer, your buyer, your seller, the other agent needs to hear your voice.
Yeah. It could have been saved.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you for my therapy session.
You're so welcome. I can't
feel
wait
better.
You do?
I do.
Cannot wait to hear the follow-up.
I just needed to process.
You know what we should be doing? We should be writing down, okay, we have to follow up on this and then we'll do like a follow-up episode.
I think we, because I was thinking if it airs far enough away, we could add a little thing at the bottom.
Oh, that would be great.
That's
because I really want to know.
I know, we need to do that.
People want to know the ends of these stories.
I
know. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like a recent one where you were like, oh, I just got an offer on it after all this whatever happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, now we need to know what happened.
How did it play out?
How did it end up? How did it end?
Okay, well, we'll write down the state.
Okay, it's time for the rest of the story. So it's been many months since we recorded this episode.
Yes.
In the time from when we recorded until now, we have heard there'll be more.
There's actually an ending to this story.
There's an end. So I believe that we left off with the first buyer going back and doing an additional inspection without writing a new offer.
Correct.
Okay, so hit me with it.
Okay, so they had canceled. My seller was very angry.
Right.
He did not believe we had foundation problems. Buyer was so sure that we did, they canceled.
Okay.
So we had been off the market for 2 weeks because of their due diligence and how much time they took.
Right.
Then we were off the market for 2 weeks while we waited for a structural engineer who came back and said, house is fine, all good.
Okay.
Then I called the previous agent's team leader and just was like, wasn't sure how, I don't like how things went. We are going back on the market. We're not disclosing foundation issues because there's no foundation issues.
Yeah.
So we go back on the market. And this is where, I'm sorry if I'm repeating a little bit of this.
That's okay. It's been a while.
It's been a while. We go back on the market and I get another offer from a new buyer.
Okay.
But it is contingent on the sale of the buyer's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I want to do this or not.
Right.
But again, we've been on the market for a minute.
So few people asking us to the dance.
So we agreed to accept their contingent offer. While we are contingent, the other agent goes back and is showing the property to the same people who canceled on us.
You believe because you gave them the report from the structural engineer, they decided to revisit?
Yes.
Okay.
That report made them feel comfortable.
Okay.
Which goes to show that when they were canceling on me all those weeks before, and I was begging the agent, saying, is there anything we could do to make them feel comfortable moving forward? And she was saying, no, nothing. That was false.
Right.
Because all I had to do was get a structural engineer to sign off, and they're coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So we are now under contract with a contingent buyer.
Okay.
At a much higher price than where we were under contract with them.
Right.
With the hopes that if this contingency works out, then everything's great because we got way more money. So let's just say it was like $25,000 more than the other offer that we had.
Okay.
So after they had like another little inspection, I never really heard from them again.
Okay.
But I didn't want to like reach out because I really wasn't sure I wanted to get back
You
into
weren't
that
pursuing
web.
them hard.
I wasn't pursuing them hard because I saw how it went the first time.
Yeah.
So I just proceed with the contingent offer.
Okay.
The night that we accept the contingent offer, it's been about 5 days since they went to the house. Haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
I get a text from the agent that's like, hey, I'm actually going to send you a new offer.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, just know we accepted a contingent offer that is much higher than where y'all were.
Yeah.
So I don't know what my seller is going to do at this point. It would have to be a better offer. So the next morning I wake up and I have an offer in my inbox from her. And it is the same exact offer as what we had in place with them, except this time there is no inspection.
Okay.
Because inspections are done.
Right.
Okay. So I go to my sellers and I'm like, they're back. And we all are like twitching a little bit, you know? I'm like, they really love the house. And you may remember, I never told my sellers that the agent mentioned to me that they are backing out because they feel my seller lied.
Thank goodness you didn't tell the seller that.
I was never going to say that.
No.
I had just told my seller they got cold feet because of the foundation.
Which was true.
But
you just didn't share the other part of that.
The personal part.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in that, really.
Right. Okay.
And so, anywho, they're like, well, we do like that they're not contingent, and it was a quick close because without due diligence, it would be like appraisal ordered immediately, and then we can close. I said, I think we should counter. And so they were like, well, how much more? I said, I don't think they're going to pay $25,000 more, but that $25,000 more offer may never even close.
Right.
Because their house is still on the market. So my seller's like, what about $15,000? What if we just go back $15,000 higher and see what they say? I said, if they're serious about it and they don't like what we have to say, then maybe they'll just counter again.
Yeah.
But I agree. Let's do this.
Right.
So we sent a counter for $15,000 more than what we were under contract with these same people a month prior, and they accepted it. And my mind was blown.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
They really wanted the house.
Their agent really wanted to just be done and send a cancellation.
But that doesn't, and it's, I wasn't there during that time.
Right.
That they were having these discussions. But I can tell you now, like, it's closed. It's all done. I was very eager to see how the closing table dynamic was going to be.
And?
The buyers were so delightful.
Yeah.
The buyers really hit it off with my sellers.
Great.
They chatted and shared stories and knew mutual friends. The agent and I were pleasant. She was very nice, very sweet, but we really did not speak much. When we left, she said, thank you. And I said, I'm really glad this one worked out. And she said, me too.
Okay.
It was very cordial. And this is the first time in my career where I've had a situation like this unfold in the way that it did. And it just brings me back to wondering if agents are really doing their job. In this situation, I truly believe this agent cost their buyers $15,000.
Yeah.
Because had we been able to have that phone call,
your seller wasn't going to change the price up.
No.
Ever. Not while they were under contract. That wouldn't have even been an option.
I just really feel like, I got a cancellation and everything was signed before, and a phone call, an in-person conversation was never had.
Yeah.
And to this day, I genuinely believe if we could have had a quick phone call to say, help me understand what their concerns are. And if there's anything that we can do to keep it together, my sellers are willing.
Right.
I had one thought, like they had gotten a foundation estimate from a foundation company for additional optional support of $7,000.
Right.
that actually ended up not being needed after we got the engineer report.
Right.
But even if they would have written a repair request that said, seller to give buyer $7,000 more, my sellers would have said yes.
Yeah.
And then the buyers could have investigated further once they owned the home and realized, oh, it doesn't need foundation issues and we have $7,000 more.
Right.
Bringing the damages up to $22,000 that they could have had.
Karma really liked your seller on that one.
Karma really took care of my sellers.
Right. Because they were blindsided. They weren't given an option to even fix anything.
They were so upset with the cancellation at one point that I thought they were going to fire me.
Oh, thank God they didn't.
And yeah, a lot went on. And so to see it come full circle.
Did the seller give you credit for...
Yes.
They were like, wow, way to turn that around.
Yes. The sellers at the closing table just kept, I was almost actually getting uncomfortable. Like, thank you so much. That's so sweet. But
right.
It worked out how it was supposed to, They just, they went from such lows to, and I just told them, I said, in this situation, it worked out in your favor. We have that... Funny story. I sent the agent who sent me the contingent offer, I sent them flowers because one, they were devastated that they couldn't, because I had to notify them, hey, we have an offer we would like to accept. Can you remove your contingency? And they couldn't do it. And so we kicked them out and they were really upset about it. But without those people, I would have had no leverage to do what I did to get this better money. Offer.
Right. You could have maybe still sold it to the first people, but you wouldn't have gotten them to go up in price. Well, you know what's
crazy? The morning of closing, I checked the house that we kicked out and it was still on the market.
Okay, so... It was fine.
It just let me know they never sold. That was never going to happen in our time frame.
Correct choice. It was worth the $10,000 less.
Crazy that's how it all worked out.
Fascinating.
And my seller was so upset that he had to pay the $1,200 for a structural engineer. And then it turns out it paid for itself.
Thank goodness.
Times 10.
Right.
It's rare to hear a story like this. It's the only story I have in my whole career
that turns out like this.
And when we recorded this first part, I was so upset in that moment. The first part of this episode, I had no idea it was going to end.
You were in the sad, low valley.
I was.
Now you're back at the top of the mountain.
And I just can't believe it. And so even after, I know there's people who have been in the business longer than me, but with the amount of transactions I have done, to have one that surprised me to this level was actually just a reminder of why I love real estate so much.
You never know.
You never know what is going to happen. How wild.
Thank you for wrapping that up for us with a bow.
At the end of the recording last time, I thought this was an interesting story, but a terrible ending.
Yeah.
It's I didn't have any resolution.
No.
And so to be able to save it until I could see it through was so worth it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for sharing that with us.
Let's do a toast.
Let's do the toast.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Hi, this is Mary Justice. I'm a realtor with ERA King Real Estate in Northeast Alabama in Scottsboro. And I would like to make a toast today to Sarah Scarborough. I would like to take a moment, raise a glass to Sarah with RE/MAX Alliance in Huntsville. When I first started at RE/MAX Alliance a year ago, Sarah was the first person to offer me some wonderful advice. She said, "You need to listen to Hustle Humbly podcast." That simple suggestion made such a big impact on me. I absolutely love the podcast. It's full of honest tips, encouragement, and practical advice that has been so valuable to me as my first year in real estate. It's exactly what I needed in this season of learning and growing. So thank you, Sarah, for sharing your wisdom and for helping me start off on the right foot. Cheers to you.
Wait, before you go, if you enjoyed this episode and if we brought you value, Take a minute to rate the show, leave a review, or drop a comment.
We are giving away our best stuff for free. Find it at hustlehumblypodcast.com/freebies.
We'd also love to see you in Hustle Humbly community. Join us there at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership.
We love chatting with you in our DMs. Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast and say hello.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly Podcast. See you next week.